I got a question for you guys before I start this video. Has there ever been a movie that received so much hate and then you watch it for yourself and you actually liked it and you did not understand the hate for it and you defend it until you give it a couple more rewatches and then you realize that this movie is actually bad and the haters were right about it? This movie is my pick for that category. Hey guys, this is Frozen Things Stews here, and welcome back to another movie review. And I am going to be doing my final Indiana Jones review marathon leading up to Dial of Destiny. And for today's video, I'm going to be doing a review. Oh, wait, no, it's not a review. It's going to be a rant on Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, or as like my friend Harry Thomas calls it, Kingdom of the Crystal Doll, which calling this movie doll is honestly too generous. But anyways, yeah, whatever. So Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is the fourth installment in the Indiana Jones franchise, and is directed once again by Steven Spielberg and stars Harrison Ford, Kate Blanchett, Shia LaBeouf, Karen Allen, Ray Winstone, John Hurt, Tessera. And so, Indiana Jones and the King of the Crystal Skull, it tells the story of Indiana Jones, an old Indiana Jones, well, kind of old, I guess, who becomes, who goes on a new mission to race against the Soviets, to race against the Soviets to uncover the secret behind the mysterious artifacts that they call the Crystal Skull, and he pretty much must like try to learn about the Crystal Skull, and he must be able to return it. To be able to like find out where the Crystal Skull comes from. And yeah, along the way, he encounters. He's with Shia LaBeouf, Matt Williams, and then who pretty much goes with him on this adventure. And then we get the reunion of Indy and Marion, and who turns out that Marion is actually Mutt's dad, and Indiana Jones is actually Mutt's father, I guess. And also it turns out that the Crystal Skull is actually aliens and yada 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 blah. Who cares about this movie? So yeah, going back to the beginning of this movie, going back to this beginning of what I said, yeah, like when I ask you the question, is there a movie that you used to defend, but now you realize it's actually like just as bad as the haters say? Yeah, I'm sure you all know that this movie is divisive, like very controversial, and quite possibly the most divisive movie of the 2000 decade. Yeah, like such a controversial movie where it actually got positive reviews from some, like the critics were actually generous to this. It actually has the same rating as that underrated Temple of Doom, with a 76%, which is on par. Now, Temple of Doom is a movie that I actually defend, and I think it's underrated. I can't say the same for King of the Crystal Skull, yeah. But yeah, we can all agree that King of the Crystal Skull is the worst in the franchise, and if you think Temple of Doom is worse, then I will not understand you. Yeah. And yes, funny enough, guys, I actually used to like King of the Crystal Skull. When I saw it for the first time, I was like, hey, it's actually not that bad. I actually side with the critics. I think this movie is decent. Yes, sure, I will admit, I always knew that this movie was unnecessary and should have ended with Last Crusade. And I should and I knew that the story was a mess, but I actually found this enjoyable. I kind of enjoyed this movie. I was like, I actually wanted to hate this movie, but I was kind of surprised by this movie. Yeah, when I saw it for the first time, it really surprised me by how much I enjoyed this movie, and the fact that this movie actually wasn't bad, and I actually found it to be just an entertaining and a guilty pleasure. I really like the fact that Marion is in it. Indiana Jones is still Indiana Jones, and this is still a Spielberg movie. So this is still a pure Spielberg, yeah, pure Spielberg movie. And it's got like some, some things like about Indiana Jones. It still had the that Indiana Jones magic. Well, that's what I thought. But then came the rewatch. Yeah, before rewatching this, the more I thought about, it, I was like, is this movie really underrated? Is it actually really good? Like, and I yeah, and even though I like this movie, I will admit that this has always been one of Spielberg's weaker films. Like this, even if I would have given it a positive review, this still would have been in my bottom five Spielberg movies because, I mean, it's not really the master. It's not really up to par with some of the other Spielberg movies, and even the other Indiana Jones movies too. But after rewatching this movie on Disney Plus yesterday, I gotta say, oh boy, oh, why Spielberg? Why Lucas? You're so much better than this. Oh my god. Indiana Jones and the King of the Crystal Skull is awful. This movie is hot garbage. Yep, I now despise this movie. Like it is a disgrace to Indiana Jones, and I'll go as far as saying I don't consider this canon to Indiana Jones in the slightest bit. Like we'll see how the destiny goes, but if that movie ends up being good, then I'll consider that Indiana Jones 4. Although I'll still have to like mention this in my when I rank the Indiana Jones movies eventually, but yeah, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull just it's horrible. Like I can't just believe how garbage this movie is. I mean, you got the same cast, you got the same people, you got George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. I mean, how could you possibly make like with all those great the same people from the original and having great new additions, especially with Kate Blanchett in it and Ray Winstone and Shia LaBeouf, kind I guess, I don't know. How can you make a movie with where it's in good hands this bad? Oh my goodness. And people are calling Dial of Destiny the worst Indiana Jones movie. Well, there's no way it's gonna be worse than this one. I don't see that at all because King of the Crystal Skull is just pure garbage. It is not Indiana Jones in the slightest bit. Well, yes, it does have some of the elements from the others, but I mean it's just done bad. This movie is basically Raiders of the Lost Ark done badly. Yeah, that's the best way to describe this. But before I get into everything that is wrong with this movie, let me tell you all right now some good things because yes, there are some good things about this movie. Where do I even start with this? Like where do I even start with this? I enjoyed the first 20 to 30 minutes. Like I'm not sure which point in the movie do I like do I like stop enjoying this movie and start to realize that this movie is actually not very good. I'm not sure when that point was when I just realized it was when the movie just started to sink. But I enjoyed the first half. Like yeah, sure. There's some really cheesy stuff here. Like when Indiana Jones insulted a soldier and then the soldier just punch him in the face like something like that. That was kind of cringy. But other than that, yeah, I kind of like this. I kind of liked this opening setup, but it was kind of enjoyable. It's not great. I mean, you can already see a problem, like problems that this movie's gonna have, like the rest of the movie's gonna have. But I mean, yeah, I actually had a really good action scene, with Indiana Jones trying to escape the Soviet, and then we got a really good introduction with the main villain of the movie, Irinka Spanko, played by Kate Blanchett, who is a good villain. Who I will say is one of the better things about this movie. She's a solid villain. Yeah, she's no Elsa or yeah, sure, she's no Elsa or the other guy from the other villain. I forgot his name. Well, whatever. He's a good villain, and the villain in the first movie, as well. She ain't any of that. And I predict that Mads Mikkelsen will be a better villain than Kate Blanchett. Maybe, But I take her any day over the villain in Temple of Doom. Even though I like that villain, I think Kate Blanchett is better in my opinion. Like there hasn't been a bad, like, I haven't really seen a bad Indiana Jones villain, to be honest. Yeah, that's pretty much one thing. One of the things that this franchise gets right, it's villain. Yeah, I haven't really seen a bad villain like yet. Well, we'll see with we'll see with that Down of Destiny if there will be a bad villain. I hope not. But Kate Blanchett is good. I mean, yeah, Kate Blanchett is pretty good. I mean, I think the reason as to why Kate Blanchett the villain's good is because of Kate Blanchett's performance, and I really like her Russian accents, and I like her Russian accent. It's kind of cute. It's not gonna lie. Um, also the fridge scene was a guilty pleasure. You know that basically that scene when I'm sure you know the infamous fridge scene that you can't you cannot talk about the King of the Crystal Skull without bringing up the fridge scene. And to me personally, that is probably a guilty pleasure moment. Yes, it is stupid, but at least that scene was self-aware that's stupid. Unlike the rest of the movie, which I'll get to in a bit. Yeah, that scene was self-aware. Like they literally went Fast and Furious mode on that moment when basically yeah there's this really weird scene. Yeah, I may have called the Temple of Doom the weirdest movie ever, but that scene alone is very weird than any scene in Temple of Doom. So basically what happens in that scene, just to recall, Indiana Jones ends up in this Indiana Jones ends up, you know, in this how this village where it turns out that all quote unquote people there are mannequins, and then he just hides in the fridge and then explodes like the Soviets are throwing a nuclear bomb on that world, and then Indiana Jones hides in the ref because he didn't know what to do, and then the ref just blows up. It flies and lands safely. Indiana Jones was able to get out of the fridge, like not only survive, but he's not injured. Like he did not get injured in the slightest bit. Yeah, no joke. And even though yes, it is stupid, at least it's kind of a dumb fun moment. Like it's like it knew stupid. I just wanted to play around with the audience. So yeah. Um, I like the ending where with Indiana Jones and Marion, India and Marion getting married, like their wedding scene. That was a really good ending. Um, really good ending. But unfortunately, that's all where my positives lie. Now let's get into everything that is wrong with this movie. Every single thing that this movie got wrong. Because, oh my goodness, there is like so much to think about. Like, I might even end up forgetting some points. But yeah, I mean, at least I'm using my Letterboxd review as a guide, so I kind of know what to say. So yeah, where do I start with this? First of all, this plot is basically Raiders of the Lost Ark all over again. The only difference is that you just replace the Nazis with the Soviet Union, and then you have it. You have your, and then you have it. You have Raiders of the Lost Ark, but with Soviets. But it's not only just Raiders of the Lost Ark 2.0. It's literally a messy movie. Like the whole I like this movie is so confusing. Like it's so confusing. Like I'm just so confused on what happens, and the whole like thing about Indy just trying to search for the crystal skull is just uninteresting, and you even question if there was even a plot in the first place, because I mean, was there even a plot to this? Like it's maybe yes, there were events, like there were things happening, but it doesn't fully come together as like one plot. It's just basically so many things happening. You got the search for the crystal skull, you got the war against Nazis, but the movie focuses on Indiana Jones's relationship with Maud Williams, and then you get this quote unquote surprise that I'll get in a bit. But yeah, this plot is so messy. Like, yeah, this is a plot. It is a mess. But not only that, but this movie does one thing an Indiana Jones movie should not be. An Indiana Jones movie should not be boring. And my god, this movie was so boring. Like, nothing in this movie was entertaining. Like besides the first 30 minutes, I guess, but yeah, the entertaining like this, it's just so boring. I was just bored out of my mind, just waiting for something to happen. But no, it's just like uninteresting. I'm just not interested in like anything that happens. Like even like the adventure scenes. It's not interesting. Yeah, and there were some overextended scenes that just extended for so long. Uh, like, like specifically the scene with Indiana Jones and with Indy and Mutt inside a cave trying to find the skull like in a middle act. That scene was supposed to like last for you know like shorter, but my god, they extended that scene to a maximum where I couldn't take it anymore. I literally fell asleep in that scene right there. Like I fell asleep for like a few minutes. I was just kind of tired. I was just kind of tired because I didn't sleep well the night before I rewatched this movie, and and when I woke up, they were still in the cave. Like I was like, oh my god, they're still there. But basically, it was an action scene. It was technically an action scene, and they were getting out. So yeah. And speaking of action scene, with the exception of the opening action scene, there is no good action scenes. Yeah, the action in this movie is not good. Again, I like the opening action scene, but that's pretty much the only action scene. Like most of the action scenes are just are really forgettable. For yeah, they're extremely forgettable. Like I already forgot like all the action scenes. Like besides the first film, and the jungle action scene. Like oh my god, that action scene in the jungle. Oh dear god, like that was probably the stupidest action scene like I've ever seen. Like, Indy doesn't even do anything in this movie. Like he just and like he doesn't have any fighting abilities. Like oh my goodness, like what did he do with Indiana Jones in the scene? And speaking of that, I will say though, that I forgot. I don't know if I mentioned this, but Harrison Ford was okay in this movie at best. He was serviceable. He's not great. This is definitely one of Harrison Ford's weaker performances, but um, but for a movie with old Harrison Ford, it's actually okay. Like it's fine. Like but, he seemed really tired in this too. But yeah, that fight scene was not exciting. And then there was another fight scene in there was another fight scene in a small fight scene in a bar where basically basically when Indy and Mutt were like walking in the bar, Indiana Jones tells Mutt to punch a random guy in the face, just for a brawl. Like, what was that action scene? And even the music behind the action, oh dear God, it is like like and yeah and boy that characters, oh boy. I will say that the villain, the Kate Blanchett villain, is by far the best character in the movie. And like what I said just a few seconds ago, Indiana Jones is okay. But even if the villain is the best character in the movie, she's not great either. She's just fine. But all the other characters, like people like the Ray Winstone character. Like people like the Ray Winstone character, Max something. But honestly, nah, I don't agree. I think he's a forgettable character. I even forgot that Ray Winstone was even in this movie. Like, what was he doing again? What was his character again? I mean, like, personality again? Like, forgettable. But we got two characters who really pissed me off so much. I was like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing to these characters? Yeah, yeah, oh my god, yeah. So, as you all know, Marion was in this movie. And I was a huge fan of Marion in the first movie. Besides Indiana Jones himself, Marion would be my favorite character in the movie. But, but in this movie, they completely turned Marion into an annoying, unlikable brat. And that Marion, that was not Marion at all. They completely ruined her character, and it's just upsetting because that is not Marion. She's supposed to be kind-hearted and supporting the Indiana Jones, but what does she do in this movie? Basically, just be Willie Scott 2.0. I'm not sure if I would say she's worse than Willie Scott, but yeah, she's like just as bad as Will Scott in this movie. Like she's awful. Like she's just yelling all the time. She's just trying to argue in the most annoying way possible. She's annoying, unlikable, out of character, and yeah, I mean, what was the point of bringing her back if you're not gonna make her do anything but yell and be like the most annoying, one of the most annoying Indiana Jones character? Like, oh my goodness! Like I can't believe they did this to Marion. Like, Marion the first one would actually be make my top five favorite Indiana Jones characters. But this ain't Marion. This is not. I don't think this was Marion. If this is the kind of character you want, then fine. And also not to mention the whole plot about the whole plot the whole concept of this Mott being turning out to be Marian's son, and then and with which makes Indy Mott's father. That was a stupid and forced concept. That was a really bad concept. That was such a really bad idea, and they should not have gone for that subplot. But and speaking of Mutt Williams, oh my goodness, Mutt has to be the worst Indiana Jones character I have ever seen in my life. Period. Like, yeah, sure, Willie Scott is a horrible character. I think we can all agree on that. But if you thought she was the worst Indiana Jones character, oh my goodness. Shia LaBeouf is the worst of the worst when it comes to these Indiana Jones characters. First of all, why cast a Shia LaBeouf in this? That was completely unnecessary. Plus, isn't he like focusing on his Transformers movie? Like, he could have just been filming Revenge of the Fallen, cause he doesn't really fit to be in an Indiana Jones movie, and like, I don't really see him in an Indiana Jones movie at all. So I wonder like how he got here, or maybe they wanted to put him because he was in Transformers and they wanted a main quote unquote selling point. But no, I mean, you'd expect Shia LaBeouf to like be someone different. Like since it's an Indiana Jones character, you expect him to act like a character that belongs in this world. But he feels so out of place. Like, and plus he was acting more like Sam Witwicky than an Indiana Jones character. He just gave me pure Sam Witwicky vibes. And if you know me so well, you know how much I hate that Sam Witwicky. And besides the Transformers movies, this movie just shows how much of a terrible actor Shia LaBeouf is. Like, overrated actor, like I should say. Yeah, he is without question the most overrated actor in Hollywood. I will never understand the love that this guy gets. Yeah, sure, maybe I could change my mind about him. I heard great things about 2019 Shia LaBeouf, like him in 2019. He was in two well received movies. So Honey Boy and Peanut Butter Falcon. I'm not quite sure if I'm interested in Honey Boy, to be honest, but let me know down below if you recommend me to watch Honey Boy. As for Peanut Butter Falcon, I'll probably watch it at some point because that movie I am pretty interested in. I'm very curious about it. I'm not sure like when's a good time to watch it, but not quite now. Maybe if that movie is available on the plane when I go on a vacation just next week. Yep. Yes, I'm actually leaving to my vacation next week. If you guys are wondering. Like, literally 7 more days from now until I go on vacation. So I kind of can't wait. But anyways, yeah. If Peanut Butter and Falcon's available on the plane, I'll watch it. Maybe I could also watch it either on its fifth anniversary or in preparation for Madame Web this Feb because Dakota Johnson is in it. So yeah, and I plan to actually rant in the trilogy in preparation for the code for Madame Web because Dakota Johnson is in it. I'll think about it if I think it'll deserve it, or if I'm just gonna be too lazy to do it. But you get my point, anyways. Uh. Yeah. But yeah, but maybe Shia LaBeouf at the time. Yes, actors do change. Like they would go from bad actors to like actually pretty good actors. So maybe that could be the case with Shia LaBeouf. But Shia LaBeouf in the 2000s and plus in 2011, it's a no for me. I don't like this Shia LaBeouf. Like, like this annoying, insufferable piece of garbage. Shia LaBeouf, just no. Like he's annoying in this movie, more annoying than Willie Scott, I should say. He's insufferable, and he acts like Sam Witwicky, like always yelling for no reason at all, and really just like annoys me. But of course, well, that wasn't even the last point I want to say. Before I end this rant, I want to talk about the last thing the last point I want to make, the alien plotline. Oh my goodness, the plotline with the aliens. What are you thinking? Like, why? Like, this is Indiana Jones. Like, it's so unrealistic. I know people make the excuse, oh, it's supposed to be unrealistic because it's just a movie. But here's the thing, Indiana Jones is supposed to be realistic. The first three movies are actually realistic. They feel realistic. The adventure feels realistic. Like, the items that they try to collect are realistic. Say what you want about Temple of Doom, but at least it's realistic. Having someone this like a person just trying to grab, like, pull the heart out from humans with bare hands, and like put them in fire. At least that is something that could actually happen in real life. Like, it's actually realistic. But in this movie, it's literally about aliens. Wow, what a dumb plot that is. Like, that feels so out of place to an Indiana Jones movie. That just, what are you doing? Oh my god, you know what? I'm done talking about this movie. So yeah, now let's jump into conclusion. So overall, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is bad, and I should have realized earlier on that this movie is pure hot garbage. Yeah, sure, it has some really good things, like a good opening scene. Like the opening scene was good. The villain was good, and the ending was good. And Indiana Jones was okay, but but none of these things are great. They're just rather decent at best. This movie is just a muddled mess with just too many things going on, too many plot lines. That's just either confusing or just the fact that there was no plot at all. Um, and this movie literally ruined Marianne's character. It ruined Mutt's character. Like, Mutt is the worst Indiana Jones character ever. The action scenes, with the exception of the opening, is not exciting in the slightest bit, and it is just so unrealistic. Like, the alien plot is really dumb, and it's just bogged down by this long lost parents like subplot where, oh, he's my son, I didn't know that, that's your mother, I didn't know that, all that BS and stuff. um John Williams score, I got mixed feelings in that. I don't know. And the cinematography is not very good. I don't know why, but like, the cinematography is not good. I wonder who was the cinematographer of this movie. Yeah, yeah, I guess this movie does deserve the hate it gets. In fact, I feel like this movie isn't hated enough. Like, some people are actually appreciating this movie now, saying that, oh, this movie is actually good. You know why? And because Dial of Destiny is going to be worse. Like, their excuse for liking this movie is that at least this movie wasn't made by Disney, unlike Dial of Destiny. Yes, without, maybe on its own, yeah, they would have hated this movie, would have been more hated. But just the fact that Disney is making their own Indiana Jones movie, like, they just decide, oh, hey, they just look back at this movie and be like, oh, at least this is not a Disney movie, so we can just like this movie. But just no, it is awful. Like, what do people like about seeing this movie? That, like, what do people see in this movie? If you like this movie, more power to you. I totally can accept your opinion, but just tell me what's good about this movie besides the positives I mentioned. So yeah, now the question is this the worst Spielberg movie? Well, technically, I still think the BFG is the worst Spielberg movie, but this is a very close second. So with that said, I'm gonna give Indiana Jones and the King of the Crystal Skull a 3 out of 10. Oh yeah, and this is certainly my top 10 worst movies of 2008 list. It's debatable if it would be my top 5 depending on how much worse movies are there, but top 10 for sure. Whew. So also for my rant on Indiana Jones and the King of the Crystal Skull, what is your opinion of this movie? Do you agree with me that this movie is a disaster? It's a cinematic disaster. Do you think this movie is meh but not as bad as I say this, or do you actually like this movie? Comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for another video. No, it's not going to be my Dial of Destiny review yet, because if you saw my community post, I won't be able to see Dial of Destiny until Monday. So yeah, my next two videos that I'll be doing are my thoughts on the news of the Marvels with the Marvels yeah, and the Superman Legacy cast, and my review of Nimona. So yeah, bye guys.